Debts aren't just numbers on paper. They are invisible chains that imprison your freedom, your peace, and even your identity. But who signed this contract for you? You feel the weight. That knot in your stomach with every statement. The feeling that you work to pay the past, not to build the future. Your money slips through your fingers, not by chance but by a silent bond, an invisible web of consumption where every click is a knot, every convenience a shackle. This is no accident. It's the invisible contract, an architecture so intricate you didn't even realize when you signed it. Your life became a payment spreadsheet, a sentence imposed by gears turning the debt cycle as coins fall into a bottomless abyss. You're trapped in a labyrinth of offers and installments, convinced you still have a choice. This video isn't about budgeting. It's about unmasking the psychology behind your servitude. It's about shining a dim light into the darkness of this invisible prison. Are you ready to see the invisible strings pulling your wallet and turning you into a slave of this unsigned contract? To break the chains made of credit cards? Debts aren't just numbers on paper. They are invisible chains that imprison your freedom, your peace, and even your identity. But who signed this contract for you? Author. A reflection on the coercive nature of debt and personal agency, inspired by Jean-Paul Sartre and J.R.R. Tolkien. Do you feel trapped, yet see no bars? This is the reality of the invisible contract. It's not just about bills or installments, but a vicious cycle that erodes your autonomy, your decision-making capacity, and ultimately, your soul. It's the subtle draining of your financial power, drop by drop, through silent obedience to an agreement you never consciously signed. Think of consumer debts that seem to appear out of nowhere. Compounded interest that turns small purchases into monsters. The feeling that no matter how hard you work, the financial weight never lessens. Each of these events is a thread, building an invisible spiderweb that traps you, muzzling your dreams and forcing you into a life of servitude. This is the architecture. Your need for consumption, your search for validation, your aversion to financial reality are analyzed by ravenous algorithms. They don't sell you products. They sell indebtedness disguised as opportunity. Images of prosperity are projected while the narration reveals a silent bankruptcy behind the curtain, an abyss of numbers and anxiety. Psychological capitalism operates in the shadows, transforming your convenience and desires into your sentence. You've been conditioned to accept this routine, to see debt as a necessary evil, but it's the tool that keeps you trapped, stealing your peace and freedom, imprisoning your mind. If this financial pain has visited you, comment below. Your mind is the main battlefield, and your emotions, the weapons against you. The guilt of spending, the fear of scarcity, the craving for instant gratification, all are exploited. Predictive algorithms like invisible eyes observe your every online move, mapping your deepest desires, your emotional triggers, your fragilities. This is the fuel of desire engineering, a force that pushes you towards consumption and consequently into debt. Daniel Kahneman showed us how cognitive biases deceive us. Confirmation bias makes you seek information that validates your spending decision, even if it's harmful. The present bias makes you prioritize immediate pleasure over future well-being. The scales unbalanced by impulsive financial decisions always tip towards consumption. Robert Cialdini, in Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, would reveal how marketing convinces you to accept what should be refused. The manipulation deepens into the existential dimension of debt. They don't sell you products. They sell the illusion of control, of happiness. You go into debt to maintain an identity society demands, to belong, to avoid being a failure. Your psyche is targeted, your insecurities exploited. Invisible strings pull your wallet, responding to every hidden yearning, every one of your unaddressed fears, especially the fear of not being enough. It's a labyrinth of offers and installments, where the way out always seems to be the next expense. The gears turning the debt cycle hold you hostage. The invisible contract is the banality of evil, as Hannah Arendt would describe it, enslaving you so subtly that you become an active participant in your own prison. Your debts are proof of your pain, the cost of an inauthentic life imposed by a contract you never signed. Pause this video and write down this sentence. It could become a rupture with debt. You feel overwhelmed. The invisible weight of debt crushes every breath, a mountain of numbers and anxiety that grows each month. The invisible contract doesn't just steal your money. It drains your peace, your mental health, your ability to dream. It's a hidden debt that manifests as insomnia, irritability, burnout, and a constant feeling of entrapment. The promise of flexibility and opportunity transforms into a snowball of frustration and disillusionment. You work tirelessly, but money slips through the cracks of impulsive or programmed decisions, feeding a vicious cycle of consumption and guilt. The ephemeral glow of pleasure from a new purchase is quickly devoured by a void that screams for more, a silent bill that never quiets. Your freedom is a mirage, constantly sabotaged by figures floating over an anxious mind. Your identity is fragmented. You become a performer of the perfect life, forced to maintain appearances, while the guilt of unnecessary spending and the regret of lack of control become your silent companions. Jean-Paul Sartre would speak of freedom and responsibility. Debt exposes your escape from responsibility for your own life. You're caught on the Ferris wheel of having, each click of the invisible chain further imprisoning your mind. This is the true tragedy of life, as Norman Cousins would have us reflect. The loss of purpose amidst financial servitude. Money doesn't buy the peace your soul needs. It only buys another moment of oblivion, a new link in the chain of dependency. You are not living. You are paying an invisible contract with your own life, where the greatest debt is to your essence and your freedom. Do you also feel this spending compulsion? Write in the comments. You felt it. The weight of the chains, the pain of invisible debt. There's no shortcut, no magic button to turn off this contract. Freedom resides in the dim light in a shadowy environment, in the brutal clarity of recognizing the tactics that trap you. Self-defense begins with ruthless awareness. Money isn't just a tool, it's a psychological battlefield where your autonomy is the target. Morgan Housel, with his Psychology of Money, reminds us that emotions dictate more than logic. It's time to deactivate emotional triggers, those that lead you to impulsive purchases, to invisible strings pulling your wallet without you even realizing it. Deconstruct the invisible contract. You are not merely a debtor, you are a being with the power of choice. The system wants you on the Ferris wheel of having, trapped between the gears turning the debt cycle. True wealth isn't in your bank balance, but in controlling your own mind, in not allowing debt to dictate your life. This demands an internal struggle, a recognition of your scarcity trauma, your search for validation, your aversion to financial reality. Start turning the tables. Don't run from your bank statement. Look at it as a map of your pain and your power. Every debt is a clue to your own prison, but also to your liberation. Authentic financial freedom isn't about accumulating. It's about the liberation of your mind from the chains made of credit cards. It's about the power to choose purpose, not possessions. It's about transforming frustration into presence, indebtedness into self-knowledge. The invisible contract exists, but control is in your hands. Embrace the silence of your own sovereignty. Share this video with someone who needs the courage to live their own truth. You felt it. The weight of the invisible chains. The pain of debt controlling your mind. There's no more running. Nothing left to ignore. The truth is this. The invisible contract enslaves you, but you have the power to break this agreement, to reverse the game. Understand the psychology of debt, the vicious cycle it creates, and the strategies to break this invisible contract, regaining control of your life and mind. Father John Karapi would speak of evil disguised in the temptations of consumption. Here it's debt disguised as opportunity. Your freedom isn't in possession, it's in conscious choice, in refusing to be just another number. The coins falling into an abyss don't have to be yours. Feel the fury of liberation, the rage of being imprisoned by a hidden contract, and transform it into brutal action, not to pay, but to be, to have a life where money serves your essence, not your prison. May this silence call you to your true freedom, the one no contract can steal. Understand the psychology of debt, the vicious cycle it creates, and the strategies to break this invisible contract, regaining control of your life and your mind. If the invisible contract traps you, comment, "I break the contract." Leave in the comments. Financial programming ends with me. Share this video with anyone still living on consumption autopilot. Subscribe if you want to keep breaking financial cycles with me.